Hi everyone. So today what I want to do is look at why what we believe may have nothing to do with reality. And I'm going to revisit a topic that we had last week about what we believe and how that belief informs what we do. Obvious, right? But what if what we believe has nothing to do with what's real? Hi everyone, this is Alex. And it's Tea and Transformation, day 13 of Savvy, Sexy, Social, Vlog Every Day in August. Okay, so let's get started. Now, I have a course that I've been teaching off and on for over 20 years called the Diet Free Living Workshop. And it's not a workshop about food or exercise or any of that, because if you look at the industry, if our dieting was successful, it wouldn't be like an $85 billion a year industry, because people fail at it. And they fail because they don't exercise enough, or they can't stay on a diet, or they try this diet, or they try that diet. But the failure rate is unbelievably high. And I believe it's because what we believe about being fat and what we believe about exercise and willpower and food is not based in any way, shape, or form on reality. It's based on what we believe to be true about why we're fat. And unless we work on those beliefs, we're never going to lose the weight, because the beliefs keep us coming back over and over and over again to dysfunctional behavior that doesn't work for us. Now, I know you're wondering, what the hell does this have to do with business? But I will get to it. But I just want to show you how it works, how these beliefs can be so insidious that we're not even aware of them. Now, in this workshop, I had a client who really loved chocolate. Oh my God, chocolate was the really big thing for her. And where she worked, I think there was 4 or 5 of them in this office. And there was a table in the corner, and any food that went into that corner, whether it was cupcakes or chocolate bars or whatever it was, anything that was on that table was available for anyone in the office to eat. So it was the sharing table. And when they brought in chocolate, she was often the very first person to be over at that table getting herself some chocolate, because she loved chocolate. So she'd been in the workshop for a little bit and had been struggling with some of the concepts around what you believe about food and how that affects or impacts whether or not you gain or lose weight. And so this one day, her coworker brought in one of those big bulk boxes that had, I don't know, a dozen or so chocolate bars in them. And they happened to be a chocolate bar that she particularly liked. But today, or that day, she was not the first one out of her seat over there grabbing a chocolate bar. And her coworker said to her, "Hey, Sally, you want one of these chocolate bars? Like, usually you're here right away." And she said, and I swear this is what she said when she came to class, she said, "It was like my mouth opened up and this other person I don't even know said, 'No, I don't think so. I really don't like chocolate.'" She said, "You could have knocked me right out of my chair. What is that all about?" So as she progressed with her homework that week, which was to find out where that thought sourced from, what was it that had her believing that chocolate was this thing that she had to have, that she had to crave, when in fact this voice that came out of her said, "I don't like chocolate." So she had 2 beliefs that were just diametrically opposed to one another. Well, as she went through her work with that, she remembered she was an older woman, and this was, a number of years ago. I won't tell you because it's really a long time ago. But her mother was quite elderly at the time and had been around during the rationing that happened in the United States during the Second World War. And chocolate was a very rare food item. Sugar was rare. And so when her mother got chocolate, it was a very special treat. And it was only given out as a reward. So it was just unbelievably special. Now, we probably don't have any idea about how incredibly special chocolate was during the Second World War when everything was being rationed. And so she grew up seeing chocolate as a reward. So when she did something good, she got some chocolate. When she got good marks, she got some chocolate. When she cleaned up her room, she got some chocolate. So throughout her life, chocolate had always been a reward, and then it became a comfort food. So when she was feeling depressed, chocolate would make her feel better. And we do know now there is some science that says, it releases, is it endorphins that chocolate releases? And it's kind of like an organic orgasm, so there is some reason to believe that we kind of get addicted to the good feelings that chocolate gives us. But anyways, suffice it to say, here she was. And she had gone years. I mean, she was in her 50s by this time, so she had gone like 30, 40 years with this belief that she loved chocolate, when in fact, she didn't. What she loved was the reward. What she loved was the feeling special. That's what she loved, not the actual chocolate. So I think that's a really important story. So how do we tell if we have belief structures that are limiting us when this structure may be running sort of in our subconscious, and it's always there, always present, always running, and we don't even know it? So how can we identify that in a way that it works for us in terms of our business? So I took a lot of notes tonight. Anyways, now for business, here's one of the beliefs around business that I think is really hard for us, especially if you're a baby boomer or if you're a Gen Xer, and if you're, was it Gen Y, Gen X, millennial, but certainly from millennials and crossovers between Gen X and millennials, they have a very different perception of work. And we, because I'm quite clearly a baby boomer, I was raised with you work hard, you do a fair day's work for a fair day's wage, and you will get ahead. And that may have worked in the 50s and the 60s. It doesn't work now. But we still have this belief structure that says that a company job and a corporate job is better than working from home, because working from home isn't real work. And yet many of the people who were involved in the blog every day in August, and you see more and more and more people starting up their own businesses because they can't depend on corporations to keep them employed. They can't depend on somebody else for a steady source of funds and income into their home and their family. So they have to go out on their own. But again, so here we have these conflicting belief structures, in that we need to work for a company job. We need to be in there doing our 40 hours a week and we'll be okay. And then we have this belief structure that says that's not working, so we need to start working from home because we need to start working for ourselves. So you have these two belief structures that are banging up against one another. So while you're trying to make your business work, your belief structure that you're not really working, this is not real work, this is dilly-dallying, this is indulging yourself, that whole kind of self-talk, and you can push it to the side, go, no, I'm not going to listen to that, I'm not going to listen to that, and forge ahead with your business. But I think that what I'm saying here is that those belief structures are going to be running in the background, and they're going to be informing and perhaps even dictating your business decisions. And the other side of that, and I think the thing that goes along with that, is if you have a lot of baby boomers who are in your circle of friends, so that could be your aunts, your uncles, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, if you're a millennial, who just don't take your work seriously. So you now have belief structures that are constantly being reinforced by people that you love and care about and whose opinions you probably value, undermining your work. So you have a breakdown in terms of what do you do. And you can't just continually push it off to the side. You actually have to do some work on it. Um, so here's how do you tell what is an ongoing, always present internal conversation. Um, so even though everything is going well for you in your business, you're constantly waiting for it to fail. You're constantly waiting for the next hit to come. You're constantly waiting for there's not going to be enough money to meet all the bills. That's a self-defeating thought form. If you have that running, that's something that you need to look at and source out where did that thought form get implanted in your brain, because it came from somewhere, because you just didn't make it up. Right? I mean, it could be from business school, for crying out loud. I mean, when I went to business school, they counseled against paying a fair and living wage to staff because that would undermine my bottom line. I thought that was ridiculous. There are all kinds of reasons to pay people a living wage, not the least of which is you have happy employees. Um, Let me see. Right. You watch. Here's a good one. This one constantly goes on. You watch every single freaking free social media webinar there is in the hopes of picking up some small grain of truth that's going to catapult your business forward, or you're constantly taking certifications. I watched a video today from one of our Veda bloggers that said that she had spent thousands of dollars on courses to learn how to become a social media manager. And I know lots of people who are quite successful as social media managers because they kind of just fell into the job. So if you're one of those people that's constantly looking for certifications, for approval, and an external approval, certifications. You have a wide variety of skills and a skill set, and yet you still feel incomplete. You've got a thought form running there that's saying, you're not going to be successful in your business unless you are certified 6 ways to Sunday in every possible conceivable skill that you could ever think of in order to make your business successful. So if that's happening for you, my suggestion is stop taking those courses and look at why you feel compelled to take courses and to get your certifications. I was going to say certified, but that's a whole other conversation. And so the question really is, when are you going to have enough confidence to believe in yourself? I say that you do have to do some work. You really have to kind of dig a little bit and find out what those self-limiting beliefs are and where they source from. It could be the chocolate story. It could be that your parents tried to be in business for themselves and it was unsuccessful and they're very concerned about your being in business. Or you grew up in a household that was a company household. And it was very clear that the belief structure around when you were growing up was the only way to make a living is to go work for somebody else. So there are lots of beliefs around that. I do think that it is possible to give them up. I also think that, like everything, it's going to be an ongoing journey for the rest of our days because we have layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of belief structures that don't support our best and highest selves. But it's a journey, and it's an enlightening one. And, if we're going to be talking about being enlightened business owners, triple bottom line business owners, and involved in right livelihood, we got to do the personal work. We have to, because if we don't, we're not living up to the context, the vision, the my why, your why, and what that means for us in terms of how we move forward with our business, how we create our business on a day-to-day basis. Anyways, this is probably a little longer than I meant to go, but I want to thank you all for joining. And of course, the standard thing is, yes, you can subscribe. Please do. Like the video if you do. It helps. Share it if you can think of anyone who might be interested in hearing what this is all about. And I think that's about it. Oh, no, there is one other thing I want to say. I do run a consultation business. I'm pretty good at crisis triage. It's a skill set I've had to learn and learn very well. There aren't any certifications for it. The only proof of crisis triage is still being alive and functioning at my age. That having been said, I am available for private consultation. I am available for transformational work and looking at belief structures and moving through how we eliminate those and move on to something better, setting goals that work using the principles of the laws of attraction and that sort of thing, in addition to tarot reading and taking a look at the energy and the context that surrounds your business. The link to my website is down below. The link to my Facebook page is down below. And if anything I've said resonates with you and you'd like to book some time with me, please do. I would be delighted to work with you. That's all I have to say for tonight. Thank you so much. It's Savvy Sexy Social Day 13, and we're looking at what if what we believe isn't really true. Bye.